that HR was going to be quite as complicated and as difficult as it is these days. So, yeah, certainly very challenging times that we've had recently. And as Claire, our colleague, our wonderful colleague, will know as well, that the times that we're in at the moment have made a real challenge for us. But what I've been thinking about is, why have I gone into this as my chosen career? And why do I still love it? Well, I've been doing a bit of work on that. I've read Simon Sinek's book, and I've worked along that. And I've been able to go back to some of the work that I was involved in as a child. And that's where I supported my mum and my wonderful stepdad, my evil stepfather, as we call him. And they work for a centre for people with learning disabilities. And the individuals there had quite profound learning disabilities. And this is back in the 70s. And at the time, they, as individuals, were labelled. But Mom and Colin spent all their time making sure that the light was shone on those individuals, so that everybody had their place, everybody knew how to be the best person that they could be. And I kind of decided that was a wonderful thing to be doing. And whilst my career hasn't taken me into the line of social care, it has taken me into the line of caring for individuals when they're in work. And I started my career back in MEB, those wonderful days where I cut my teeth in the employment relations team. And we worked with the trade unions, and we knew how to negotiate for mass groups of people. But that then took me from MEB, which was fantastic, to another company called QAD. And at QAD, I learned a lot. It was an international company working, just before I left, Europe, Middle East and Africa as their compensation and benefits specialist. But I got so far away from the hearts and minds of the individuals and that shining light that I decided that Acorn was going to be born, 2009. It's actually 11 years on Thursday when Acorn was set up. So in the middle of a recession, feels a bit similar to what we're going through now. But I realised that what I needed and wanted to do was to go back and make that difference, to understand with the clients that we support what their challenges are, to know that there are areas in life that people have challenges in their personal life, and it can come into the business life. That meant that there were times where the employment relationship may be challenged. We set up all of the work that we do with the framework of employment law, and we have the building blocks of the contracts, handbooks, policies and procedures that are in place. But for me, it's about that next step. How do you take all of those building blocks and build them on top of that with your relationship with employees? And how to ensure that they shine, how to ensure that they are trained to be the best employee that they can be, and how, as a business, you can be the best employer that you can be. So we've dealt with a lot of things in recent times. You know, we go back, we're over 100 days into lockdown, and that has meant so many different things. We were talking about it earlier with people working from home and how that had been almost a privilege for people previously. Now it's more of the norm that people are working from home and will continue to be. Marvin's setting up all of the telecoms and situations that we have to enable people to do that. But that sets its own challenges. Some people have the ability to be able to concentrate and work without the energy that's around other people. And when we're working with our clients, we're understanding what the difference is for that business, that employee, and the role that they're doing. And it's how we balance all of those things together that are so important. We have times when we think that we've got a difficult cookie on our hands. You know, how do we deal with that difficult individual? They're the job's worth. They just go along that line and they won't step over the good into being great. And they won't quite be bad enough to have to do a disciplinary or manage their performance in some way. But they have a drain on an organisation. We also have the ones where we may say, oh, that's Fred. We know what they're like. They're a bit hot-headed every now and again. Or we may have the person, well, God, they've done it again. What have they done? How are we going to manage this? And people who kind of just tip along those sides of things. Well, we know when we work with clients that when we're looking at those types of behaviours, that we are looking at somebody that's not generally happy. It may be something in their personal life, or it may be that they're not quite in that right role, or something's not enabling their light to shine. And we help with the support, with the guidance to the individual and the managers to make sure that we get the best from them. It could be areas of being off sick, the persistent short-term sickness absence, or we could also have a long-term absence, both of which have the challenges to go with it. Particularly if you've got an individual who you've worked with for years and you know they're not a sick type of person, but they're off again. Or, oh God, they're off sick again. Oh, everybody else has got to pick up the pieces. We know the implications of that can be held on a business and a team, and how the strain that can be put there can be untold for everybody else picking up the pieces. And for the individual who's off sick. And what's really important is we understand why there's an underlying problem and ensure that we help managers deal with that, get them back into work, or if there are real, genuine reasons, make sure we understand what they are from a business perspective. Look at medical reports so we're more informed, make reasonable adjustments where we can. All of this is just some of the examples of the area that we work in. And for us, one of the key areas that we get involved with clients is to do a health check. It's to say, well, what's the temperature of this business? Do we understand what their building blocks are for their contracts, handbooks, policies and procedures? So that if there is a concern from an employee about their role, they know how to deal with it. And if there's a concern from the company about how they're developing and dealing with their work, we know how to develop the relationship with them. And these building blocks enable everybody to have that open dialogue. But it goes into more than that. It goes into what are the values and behaviours for that business and for that individual. We know that the values that we display have to be true to who we are when we're working, particularly when we work within family businesses, because there is a difference. And that difference is what makes family businesses so dynamic, so wonderful. Sometimes a little pain, but we know that we can get the real energy from them. And understanding what the heartbeat is of a business helps us deliver the resolution to any problems or concerns that an individual may have. So when we look at engaging with a client, we will provide a HR health check. And for a referral from anybody within the family business practice, I'll ensure that that is done complimentary, because we want to develop that connection with your peers, with you as individual businesses, and with people that you know who you can trust us to support. And that will enable us to get that heartbeat, to get that temperature of what's happening within an organisation, and to know where we can then help further. One of the things that we develop from that is the understanding of the business and how we have your back. We know where you want to go with your team. We know where your direction is with your employees. And by having the understanding of the hearts and minds of everybody, we can deliver solutions to those niggly little problems that can be making a real impact on the business. So when you're out and about and you're talking to your peers and your colleagues and your clients, listen out for some of the challenges that they may be having. Of Paul, when you're out and you're brilliant that you're supporting all these businesses with delivering the safety briefings in the best possible way, you've got that social distance. But then when you hear, oh God, Fred's not turned up again, this is the fourth time we've organised this, there could be an issue with somebody. And it's those types of conversations that are brilliant for us to go, well, why is that? What is it that Fred's unsure about? Is it that he doesn't like this open environment? Is it, I mean, we're talking construction, is it that he may not be able to hear? Well, he should be okay with the sound guy there, but can he read and understand the instructions that are being given? So is there something more deep-seated within that individual that's preventing them being able to shine and do what they really need to do? There are some of the things where a project may be delayed because somebody's off sick again, or they've got so much to do, or they don't know how to manage the challenges that we all have at the moment with working from home, trying to balance with everything that life throws at us and the new norm that we're trying to deal with. And it's those challenges, particularly when they focus on an individual, that are the times that a HR consultant can help. We know we can make a difference at Acorn and Claire with her team, but the key thing that we have is to talk, is to get that advice, to use us as a soundboard to deal with issues and address concerns early on. Because our real key thing at Acorn is to develop first-class employers and to develop first-class employees. And we're here to help anytime you need us.